My name is Ania Jackowska and I am a community coach and mentor for Argyle Community Trust. I first realised that I might be part of the LGBTQ plus community when I was about 16 and a half, 17 years old. So yeah, throughout like kind of the end of secondary school and into sixth form. The emotions that kind of hit me at the time, they were very mixed. There was sort of one where I felt relief in that I kind of was able to work out who I was. But then there was also feelings of perhaps fear or being scared. And kind of the not knowing as well, which kind of led me to a lot of also reluctancy as well within my identity. The first people that I came out to were the chaplain at my secondary school. So he was the first person that I told, and we kind of had a bit of a conversation about it when I first started to realise. And I was like, just really needed to tell somebody to kind of work out how I was going to go forward with it. And then after that, the next people that I told about it were my parents and my siblings. The response that I got was generally positive. In fact, I would say perhaps overwhelmingly positive, and things went a lot better than I thought they would with a lot of people, especially with my parents as well, because although I knew that they were supportive, it was still quite terrifying to tell them this part of my identity. So throughout the next few years, obviously I went off to university, and it was there that I did kind of meet some challenges. I suppose the major challenges that came were where I was trying to identify spaces that I could exist as myself and just be, and to find places where I knew I would be safe to come out, which was quite a terrifying concept really at times, to kind of try and work out, am I safe in this environment? Am I going to be okay in this environment? But I was able to find those spaces for myself. So I was very lucky within the university chaplaincy. I found a really, really good space for myself there, and then also on my university's football team as well. Yeah, I suppose they were quite neutral in a sense, the football team, when I kind of came out, in that they didn't make a deal of it. They just were like, okay, cool, that's great, and didn't kind of make a huge deal of it, but they also did try and create that space where I felt safe and I felt supported and I felt included in everything as well. I did have some concerns about how I'd be perceived within the sports space, just because like historically where within sports, people like me have not always been represented. And very often where I've heard or seen on the news things that actually where the news is quite negative surrounding LGBTQ plus people within football. So I suppose I was a little bit apprehensive on that front. But actually when I did tell them and when I did come out, the response was far more positive than I realised that I thought it was going to be. And I realised that actually the things that I'd heard and the things that I'd seen, they weren't always true for all teams. And that made me feel a lot more safer within that environment. Yeah, I think a lot of the challenges that I came up against in kind of my journey within myself were not external challenges. They were actually more internal. So especially when I first kind of realised this part of my identity, I struggled a bit with it in terms of where I was seeing on the news these things about LGBTQ plus people and about the statistics that I was seeing, and actually realising that I might be part of a community that was not always accepted socially, and that there might be aspects of my life that I might have to change, that I might not always be able to hang out with people that I'd always known because I didn't know how they would react. And so I spent a long time trying to appease others and not fully being myself, which then caused a lot more internal battles. But then actually as time has gone on and I've realised that being me within any environment is the best way to be, that has helped a lot. And actually it has also led to more positive reactions from people as well, because I'm more confident and more assured in myself. So I've got a few people that I could think of that were throughout that time and even now that were kind of major advocates for me. So first and foremost, my parents, who, whether they do it quietly or whether they do it quite vocally, they have been massive advocates for me. And they've supported me throughout my entire journey, no matter kind of what I'm feeling or what I'm saying. They've just always been there for me. And then there was the university chaplain as well. They have both been massive supports as well, just finding like space for me to kind of exist and be myself. And they've just been there every step of the way on my journey. And probably one of the biggest advocates that I've had was my football coaches on the university football team. In particular, one of them, who, again, both quietly and very vocally as well, he kind of showed me the importance of authenticity and the importance of kind of being yourself and how much that can improve things for you, and actually how it means that the people that are around you, they perceive you as well. So it was in times when perhaps I wasn't quite so sure of myself, he would step up for me and be the voice for me, but also in the quieter moments where he'd go, you know, I can see that you're trying and things like that, that I would feel really supported by him. So in the times where I've had those people like quite heavily supporting me, it gave me the space to kind of figure out fully how I wanted to present myself and who I wanted to be and the person that I wanted to show the world. And it gave me that space where I wasn't trying to figure myself out whilst also continuously trying to do that in front of so many other people, which was quite a terrifying thing. So having those people that I could, I suppose, experiment with, talk with, and kind of show my true self to in smaller ways and in quieter ways, that I could then go, right, this is what I'm comfortable with, that I could then work out the person that I wanted to show the world as well. Yeah, so I have been a fan of football for as long as I can remember. I played it throughout primary school and then through secondary school as well as supporting my local team. So it was something that was a very large part of my life. And then I reached about year 11 and I'd had a conversation with my parents, and it was kind of a case of, it was more to focus on my exams at the time and then to focus on my A-levels as well. But that kind of taking a break from football, it did give me that chance to kind of focus on myself a bit more as well. And so in some ways I am glad that I was able to find myself, but it does hurt a bit that I wasn't able to find myself within football and that I had to find myself outside of football to then bring myself back in that case. So through my footballing journey at the university, it's then led me to a role with Argyle Community Trust, and this role has helped me to develop in so many ways. And one large part of my role that I've been amazed to be able to develop is kind of this advocacy that so many people have given me. And so throughout my role in the trust, I work on the Premier League Kicks programmes and the Premier League Inspires programmes, as well as doing mentoring. And through these different programmes, I've been able to support different young people that are on the same journey that I was on, and be that through sort of quieter ways like being visible and just being kind of open about who I am and just showing them that it is possible to live kind of a whole and fulfilling life and be part of the LGBTQ plus community, but also perhaps in louder ways as well. So kind of picking up on behaviour and either talking to them individually about their identity, or actually picking up on the language that's being used by others around them and educating other people on that language as well, which can help create that more inclusive environment for everybody that's there. So another part of my role that I've been able to do is supporting staff and educating staff at Argyle Community Trust as well. So I have run continued professional development sessions, and then I've also been able to go to conferences to do with equality, diversity and inclusion. And they have helped show me the importance of education for all and being able to use my position and my life experience to talk to the staff at the trust and kind of explain what it can feel like to be part of the community, especially in an environment that perhaps historically hasn't always been seen to be the most welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community. It's been amazing to kind of show them that it's not about always doing the big things. It's not about running around and knowing all the facts and all the statistics. It's about being a constant presence and keeping yourself educated and being an advocate for those that are around you. So there are a number of things that both Plymouth Argyle Football Club and Argyle Community Trust do to support the LGBTQ plus community. So first and foremost, it's things like having signage around Home Park, which kind of just reiterate that they don't stand for homophobic language or any sort of discriminatory abuse towards others. So that kind of creates that baseline where they're showing that the ground is a place for all to enjoy football. Within Argyle Community Trust, there is the Argyle Pride football team that the trust supports, that provides a space for people who are part of the community to perhaps get into football, but also a space where they know that they're surrounded by people who perhaps might have similar experiences as well. So it provides that space for them to be able to talk and to be able to enjoy the sport in an environment that they know is completely safe. And other things that happen are, of course, campaigns that perhaps go on. So, for example, at the moment, there's the EFL Rainbow Ball campaign, which is highlighting the importance of making football a sport for everyone. So there are things like that that both the club and the trust do to ensure that everybody feels included and supported within the game. The advice that I would give anybody who is perhaps on the journey of perhaps working out that they are part of the LGBTQ plus community is, one, keep at it. It can be hard at times, especially if you are in an environment that isn't supportive or perhaps as inclusive, but keep at it. You will find the space that's for you, and you will find a community that completely support you, and you will find the people that have completely got your back. And if you can't always find it, you have the capacity to create that space for yourself, and a space that you feel safe and comfortable, and to just know that you deserve to be happy and content with who you are, and that you don't have to change yourself to appease others. Being wholly you will help you to find the people that have completely got your back.